Yo there, folks. How's it going? And welcome back to the wonderful world that is Etheria. Hello. How are y'all doing today? You doing good? Good. Nice to hear it. Good. So this video is going to be more about the newer players actually. There's usually a lot of information that it can be kind of hard to compilate everything all together in a nice compact little section for y'all. I'm gonna try my best. I'll try my best for y'all and get it all done and squared away for you. So, what's one of the things that we could talk about here? I guess one of the main things for the newer players is understanding their limitations with DU, I guess. So depending on the lane it is that you could potentially have, you're going to want to build an appropriate amount of defenses within said lane. So I'm going to kind of ignore that lane up over there for the time being. But we have one lane here. Now when it comes down to spending your mana, which is your green mana there at the bottom that you could see, everything costs you a certain amount of defense units, yes? So this wall, for example, as you can see, it's flashing away in the bottom of my screen and it says it costs 30 gems. Place down said defense on the top right hand side. You can see it takes a certain it takes the cost into consideration, and then you slam said defense down. Now, how much should you be putting into a lane? I've been playing this game for quite a long time, and I can turn around and tell you that it's 130 at the most, and usually at a minimum that you're actually looking to place down within said lane. So I've decked myself out here with, like heroes that basically don't have anything, yada yada, so people can have more of a scope on what it is that they're looking to have. So more to a newer player, this is more of the size that they'd potentially be dealing with. Maybe even potentially, like, we don't need to really care about damage, but maybe just the fact that they don't have deadly strike shards and things like that. So on wall with flame aura, it's 60. I'm pretty sure, and we can put another one down, another one down, another one down, and one more down. So in the beginning, we have Chaos 1 enemies, and Vanguards, like they only have an anti-projectile shield. So things like a cannonball, actually it fires a projectile. So they're not actually going to help you out when it comes down to Chaos 1. Ballistas are exactly the same. They shoot a projectile. So these Vanguard type mobs are just they won't be able to pierce their shields. Now there are mods and say like some shards as well that you can potentially pierce with these types of defenses, but that's something that you'll come to understand later. So in terms of Chaos 1, this is actually going to do you really well. Simply just one wall, 5 flame auras going down the line. That I should set you up pretty well. Now when it comes round to Chaos 2, now we're kind of coming into a different territory there for when it comes round to Chaos 2 mobs. We're still going to want more wall. 100% still going to want more wall. But then you've kind of got, you kind of want to actually pull away from auras, traps, and nodes. So we have flame aura here, we've got boost auras, we've got LSAs. Yeah, even when it comes round to the huntress with her traps as well, it's something that you actually do not want to use for Chaos 2 with cyborgs. You want to stay away from any of these particular defenses. And then you're going to want to, like, if you're using relics and stuff and things like that on, say, your flame aura, and that's been the only thing that you have focused on, just move your stuff over to your towers. Cannonballs, ballistas, earth shatters, poison dart towers, things of those nature. So Chaos 2 mobs, we have cyborgs. So we want to place down our wall first, and you actually have a combination of different things that you can particularly use. It just depends on what it is that you have, and then what you would was best suited for. I guess the lane, you could say, because this is just one straight lane. You know, something like an Earth Shatter of that would be able to take full advantage of its full range from point A to point B. You know, constantly being able to do damage all the way up and down the lane, and then being able to do that damage, you know, as soon as possible, kind of thing. So yeah, we have a wall, we have an Earth Shatter. You know, things are getting pretty expensive right now. Like, so we're already at 130. You know, so you know, what else can we place down there? Well, it's like we have a cannonball, and then, like, you know, we're kind of very limited on, you know, what else it is that we could potentially place down here. You know, really isn't anything else for like a 20 DU that could really, you know, like fill in the gap for our damage dealing defenses. Um, you know, so whether or not, if say something like this works for you, would be one thing, but then this Earth Shatter here is basically 60. It costs 60 defense units just to play this down. If I hit this button here, you see that it will sell for 60. We can actually place down 2 cannonballs instead of that one Earth Shatter. You know, so it's more whether or not if it'll actually hold, you know. But this is usually another good strategy for Chaos too. This would work for you as well. I mean, like I would say the Poison Dart Tower 100% is a good choice for you know, whatever it is that you're planning on doing throughout your Chaos tiers. Poison Dart Tower is a good choice. So in terms of Chaos 2, you know, again, you've got your options from having you know, Earth Shatter, PDT, Cannonball, and then you've got your wall in there as well. You know, you could potentially maybe squeeze out a tiny bit more DU by placing a training dummy, which would then in turn give you one more cannonball again. But then you have to think of the, like, how small this guy is compared to a spike blockade. Like, you know, like there's a major difference between the two defenses. This has got such a wide, you know, blocking power, whereas this thing only has a tiny zone, you know, compared to this guy. You know, like there's a major difference between these. This is half, you know, almost half, you know, how much this would be able to block compared to, you know, to the spike blockade here. So, you know, you can always give that a go as well for Chaos too. But just in general, the spike blockades will do you well. Will do you. It's a very solid defense in the beginning. It could take a good beating from all the little gobus. But yeah, okay. So in Chaos 2, you know, you're gonna have to swap up your defenses a bit. Basically, take the relics that you would have had, say, like on your flame aura, maybe even shards that you've had on there, destruction, deadly strikes, defense rates. Well, you might not even be up to that point yet, but take your destruction shards, if you've got destruction shards, move them over to the PDT. PDT is a good choice. You know, you were solely using one defense before, but now it's a good idea for you to make sure you've got relics on all your other heroes and things like that as well. So even if they are not, say, like, even if they're not sharded out appropriately, they would still have function because they have been slotted with a medallion. So they will be able to do some sort of damage, you know, at the end of instead of the defense just having absolutely nothing in it, you know. Better to have something in it than nothing, and then you can kind of tweak and adjust to your own desire. When it gets round to back to when we go to Chaos 3 though, it's pretty much just back to the same strategy again. 5 flame auras down the lane. 5 flame auras down the lane, however which way you would prefer to have them. You know, just having them in a straight line like this is good. If you ever find that your walls are taking too much of a beating though, you can obviously tweak these flame auras to kind of overlap one another so that they would basically the mobs could be in the eye of the storm here, when they're trying to beat up your wall, you know, they'll take a whole bunch of extra damage because these flame auras can overlap with one another, as you can see right here. They'll be taking damage from both this flame aura and this flame aura when they stand within this little eye right here. So you can tweak and adjust these flame auras to your own kind of liking. You know, spread them out down the lane, or maybe have more of a concentrated kind of focus. You know, maybe even something similar like this is also another good idea that you could place down. So in terms of Chaos 3, this is pretty much one of the same things that you'll be doing again. You know, just your wall, flame auras again. You don't have anything that's really going to disable or cause you any trouble when you get to Chaos 3. So that's that. Chaos 4, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. You're back to, you're just this exact same thing here. Wall, 5 flame auras down. That should give you more than enough DU for when it comes round to, say, like your flyer lanes, for example. You'll have plenty of ample DU left so that you can make sure that the lanes are covered. Every now and again, you'll come across, say, like Gates of Dragonfall. It's maybe in your best interest to maybe drop 1 flame aura. And if you don't have a lot of defense rate is obviously one of the crutches that you have in the beginning of the game. Your defenses are going to shoot super slow. Super slow. So this Skyguard, for example, only shoots 2 shots. It only hits every 2 seconds. You know, so it can be a little bit of a hindrance for you. So sometimes, you know, having a couple of extra Skyguards down would help you out. Depending on the pathing, though, of the flyers, you can get away with just using flame auras, though. So, for example, say like this map over here, we have this lane. The flyers will fly down into this lane. They will fly, say, like roughly about here-ish, where I am. You know, so they'll fly down, so that things like flame auras and that will actually hit them. And do good for you. So yeah, Chaos 3, Chaos 4. You're pretty much just back to the same thing again. 1 wall, spammed out of flame auras, like universal flame auras all round. Everybody loves flame auras. And then when you get to Chaos 5 again, it's pretty much back to what happened with Chaos 2. We're looking to have some towers back into the mix again, you know, to get. So PDTs and a couple of cannons, it's always going to do you well. It's like by the time you end up getting to, say, Chaos 4, for example, that's probably where you're going to want to hang around for a good majority of time, because what you're going to be looking for is defense rate shards. When you're coming up into the Chaos tiers, you're going to be looking for very specific shards to give your defenses a very big boost in speed and power. Okay, so if you look here, for example, we have a cannonball tower, and I do actually have a relic within this cannonball tower. You'll notice that it's DPS, just for example, 4,607. I simply take a defense rate shard and we pop that bad boy in there. You'll notice that this jumps up in DPS. It's purely just because it's able to attack faster. We went simply from, what was it, 2 seconds for the attack rate, 2.5 seconds for the attack rate, all the way down there to 1.65. So, you know, this thing's going to start really being able to pump out the damage from there. And then obviously from there, it's all about, you want your damage and range is all that you're going to be looking for. So Chaos 1, you know, you're basically just going to be, again, spamming down your flame auras, you know, within your builds. You know, 5 flame auras down. Chaos 1, this is what you're going to be doing throughout your Chaos 1. You know, maybe spend a little bit of time in Chaos 1 so you can pick up a couple of these destruction shards for yourselves. Every single defense is going to need one. So if you think about it, you've got a flame aura, you've got a Skyguard, you've got a lightning strikes, you've got a PDT that you're using, you have cannonballs that you're going to be using, you have an earth shatter tower that you're going to be using. Um, yeah, you know, you're going to need a bunch of those destruction shards. So it's handy for you to hang around in Chaos 1 for you to pick up some of these shards. Chaos 2, there's nothing really for you to fully hang around for in there in terms of your actual defenses anyway, in order to get them more powerful and things like that. So you can kind of push past Chaos 2 to try and get to Chaos 3. Chaos 3, you're looking to get some deadly strike shards. That's just going to significantly increase, you know, the range of your towers. If I pop this bad boy in here right now, like you could, I don't know if you noticed that there, like the range of my flame auras are just, they're vastly superior now. Like, so attack range is 10, 10, 50. Like, you can clearly see it like 750, and we went all the way up to 1050, you know, 1050, you know, so that's good stuffs there. Good stuffs. So, and then obviously the main one that you're looking to get, it's the most important one that you're looking to get, is to get to Chaos 4. Get the defense rate shards going right across the board for all your defenses. Every single one, you're going to want to get them. Defense rate here, defense rate here, defense rate here, you know, defense rate here. You don't really need one for here. You don't need one for here, obviously. It's just like you don't need to worry too much about the wallers and stuff, but all the things that you're using and that will deal a good amount of damage, you're definitely going to want to you know, get it's, there's so many different things that you need to get squared away. You know, you don't need to rush it too much. Just enjoy, take your time. All these things here are really good. The majority of what it is that you will see people use in the early game is this stuffs, is an Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter and Poison Dark Tower is a good combination, but it can be expensive, so you have to just be careful with how expensive those can be. Cannonball Tower's really solid, good defense. There's only two anti-air defenses within the entire game. Skyguards is the better choice of the two of them, simply put, just because this hits 3 targets instead of 1. So Skyguards are really good. But yeah, anyways, we go back to Chaos 5. I know that this video might seem a bit jumbled up and things like that for people, but it's whatever. So yeah, anyway, we were at Chaos 5, right? Chaos 5, so it was pretty much a combination of, we could do this, like it says, you know, we're wall down and we've got this down, we're only at 160, but build the lane first, get to this first, and then build the rest, and then see what else it is that you can easily fill in. You know, you have to take in consideration for the air. That's one of the most important factors about spending 180 DU per lane, because that should be what you would need in order to fully cover the lane, plus still have an ample amount of DU left so that you can take care of the lanes. You know, take care of those pesky little air lanes. And then obviously the most expensive part of dealing with air, but the most efficient, is a Skyguard. You know, Skyguards is solely going to DPS those air targets, nothing else. So, you know, these can be distracted from shooting flyers, you know, these can be distracted from shooting flyers, but then, you know, this will be completely and solely dedicated to those flyer lanes. So we've got to build again for our Chaos 5, you know, and then we get to Chaos 6, and then we're back to the same thing again. It's just flame auras, man. Flame aura spam. Flame aura spam. Depending on what map it is that you're doing, you could end up having an ample amount of DU that you could spend per lane. So in terms of the rule of thumb, which we have been talking about here, which is the 180 DU per lane, well, you can actually scratch that on a map that, like this one, for example. If you look and count how many there is, so let's say we do 200 per lane. Okay, so we have 2 lanes here, that's 400, 600, 800, 10, and then 12. So we can't exactly go, all in on, like the full 200 per, because, we wouldn't have that much left, to kind of deal with flyers. But, you bring that down to having 180 DU per lane here, maybe 190, maybe even this lane right here. It doesn't need to have 400 DU in it. It really doesn't need to, just for the ground lanes in general, you know. So I don't know, a lane like this could say have 300 in it. This lane over here, and it can say you could break the 180 DU barrier here and put 200 in this lane. Have 300 in this lane. Up in this lane, you could put 200 in this lane. And then that would, then you've got more than enough defense units, DU, enough mana left for you to be able to, get your air sorted and squared away. But yeah, in terms of Chaos 6, it's pretty simple. We're back to the Flame Aura spam again. I'd like to think that by the time you end up getting to Chaos 6, you will potentially start to understand a little bit more about elemental combos and how they work. So a petrification is earth and poison. You naturally have a earth and a poison within your arsenal. An earth shatter tower is, of course, it does earth damage. A poison dart tower, of course, it does poison damage. The thing about this though is that it is expensive. It's 100 just for you to place this and this down in order for you to get the elemental combo of petrify down. It's a really good combo, obviously, because anything that's petrified will take 5% more damage from all sources, so it's a really good thing. Not only will they be crowd controlled, and they will be locked down for a small duration, like a second or so, so that they'll be running up here to try and get to your defenses, then boom, they petrified. So this is doing damage, this is doing damage, and then the poison is obviously ticking down in damage as well at the same time. So we also have a ignite combo, which is a oil and a burn. And the only thing that you really have access to within that is actually just a hero to begin with. The Huntress's number 2 ability is an oil flask. So it's a really good solid thing to do if you're looking to burn. You're looking to burn you to catch them on fire. Your number 2 ability is great. So you can oil them with the number 2 ability, and then you could flip them the bird with the number 3 ability to catch them on fire. If you don't have, say, like a flame auras, or if you don't have, say, like a flamethrower tower down or something, or if you don't happen to have fire damage as a weapon, like for example this weapon here has storm damage on it. You can have weapons that that can have different types of elements on it, so you wouldn't need to go out your way to, say, hit your number 3 to to get the fire ability going, because you have other means of applying that fire dot damage to the enemies. So, and then this is pretty much again the same thing for Chaos 7. Chaos 7 is pretty much exactly the same thing. You're looking to have just a wall, flame auras. I'd like to think that by the time that you end up getting to that plateau, that you've probably more than likely seen a lot of different types of builds that you can use. Not just a simple spam down like this. You've got so much within your arsenal that you can use. But just a nice steady little thing. So let's quickly go back over it again. So Chaos 1, simple wall, 5 flame auras, that gives you your 180 DU. Chaos 2, we're dropping out all the flame auras. Auras, traps, nodes will all get disabled from Cyborg, so we're looking to switch over from there. PDTs, cannons is a good thing. Couple of cannons down, I'll get you there. Again, you could always test out and see whether or not if this would work for you. Would be one Earth Shatter, a PDT, and a Cannonball. You could always give that a go, I guess. I dare say that maybe even a ballista might even be a decent choice as well. You know, that gives you 170 DU per lane. Um, so you can always give that a try. It's all about just having your stuff with the relics and things like that on it though, so keep that in mind. When we get back to Chaos 3, it's back to the same again. We want five flame auras down. 180 DU, Chaos 3, nice and easy. Chaos 4, back to the same thing again. You could just stick with the flame auras and stuff. Again, when it get back to Chaos 5, we're looking to pull all that out of there again. PDTs, cannons. Again, you're pretty much just back to use towers instead. So just pick whatever towers maybe you like. You know, pick your favorite towers, whichever ones you like. You know, you enjoy playing with, or you know, maybe even go with the ones that we are suggesting to you here. You know, here. So it's here, here. We could have some of this. We can maybe even have some of this. You know, in there. So back again. You know, Chaos 2, Chaos 5. We're doing the towers. Chaos 6. We're back to the flame auras again. Auras, traps, nodes is always a really good thing. So back to that again. Chaos 7, you're pretty much doing exactly the same thing again. And then Chaos 8, well, Chaos 8 is all about the archer hotness right now. Even though there's still, you know, there's still people that use flame auras, LSAs, and boost auras and things and stuff like that. But it's if you're you know, it's spiders will cause you problems, so it's pretty much just a simple case of you know, get back to the towers again. You know, earth shatters, another again, we're back to, you know, just more back to the same things again. You know, go back to the towers. Go back to your towers, use those types of defenses, you know, don't get sucked in to everyone that's using flame auras and stuffs. You know, go back to your towers, use those, find the combination that you enjoy using. Maybe you'll find out about the little quirks like what we've been talking about, you know, your petrification, you know, maybe you're looking to get some burning going as well, you know, within your build. Yeah. Uh, so that's pretty much the gist of what it is that you would be looking to do in terms of the chaos tiers. Now, when it comes down to Ascension, however, when you reach level 50 on your hero, you will finally unlock this Ascension tree. Within this Ascension tree, we have offense, defense, and utility. In the offensive category, it's kind of up to you what it is that you're looking to do. But the biggest thing that you're probably going to quickly find out about is assassins. So health is always a good thing to start pumping your points into. Um, it's probably where you should put your points into to begin with, is just get some health going. But then if you're someone who's kind of geared up your hero, and your hero at the time just so happens to have health right across the board, you know, within your actual hero's gear, then that could be something that you could actually ignore and then maybe focus more on the damage aspect of it. Because it all pertains on it depends on your gear as well, you know, what it is that you actually have on your hero, because those are going to be affecting your, you know, your stats. You know, do you need to be putting points into HP? You know, your guy's nice and healthy, you know, does he need any more? But then obviously you have to take into consideration what happens if you swap out one of these pieces for a hero damaging piece. You're instantly going to see the effect for your HP. You know, so that's something to consider. But when it comes round to Ascension, when it comes round to anything, offense, it's the health or damage or your abilities. Again, that's all more. It's more about what it is that you have in terms of gear. You know, again, if you've got more HP focused gear, then, you know, maybe consider going into damage. But if it's more damage orientated, maybe consider, you know, getting your health here, all the points here to health. Sorry about that. Defenses. Um, it's right here. Is defense speed. That's the first thing. That's the very first category that you're looking into. Defense speed here, and then depending on whatever it is that you're going to be using, of course, when it comes out to the monk, defense speed, and then flame aura damage. Like that's obviously the once this has got 20 points in it, then it's straight into the flame aura damage. Now, in terms of the utility category, it's actually the defense crit chance and defense crit damage is the first ones that you're actually looking to get. Obviously, the more chances that your defenses has to crit means in turn more damage, and then when it crits, you want it to do as much damage as it can, So crit chance, crit damage, and then from there, obviously, then that's when you would be looking into your range for your specific tower of choice within your hero. So defense speed, flame aura, we're on the monk speed, flame aura, crit chance, crit damage, then the range. Once you've got that done, if you've only got one hero, one monk to kind of play around with, I don't know, maybe even like if you've just only got one monk so far that's going to be doing a lot of your building and things like that. And if you don't happen to have like another hero card to where you could like swap to a different monk so that you can kind of min max your setups, if you make another hero obviously for the monk instead of say putting his ascension from speed and then flame aura, well, you wouldn't need to do that because you already have a monk. You already have one monk here that's already decked out and set up for flame auras. You make another hero card, you can go with defense speed and then maybe go into sky guards instead, pump all your points into there, then it's the same thing at crit chance, crit damage, and then you'd be actually be looking to get this slow duration here. You have to be mindfully aware of the categories that's within the defenses, and some of them have little quirks that go towards defenses. So this one here for the monk, Skyguard slow duration. So as soon as the Skyguard starts hitting a flyer, it's instantly being slowed. So this is actually super helpful for you. So instead of going straight into range, you might want to consider getting this slow duration instead before you start pumping it into range. If we look at we'll look for another example for the apprentice. We have frostbite towers here as well. We have a frostbite slow here inside this defense category, instead of power. Instead, so and a frostbite tower obviously it doesn't get affected by speed. There's no actual attack rate towards this particular defense. So this defense speed thing will only matter to the earth shatter, and the flamethrower damage as well. I think the arcane barrier as well. I'm pretty sure it has attack. Well, it doesn't actually have. Well, it does have a recharge. Funnily enough, it has a recharge, but I don't think that affects it. But in terms of the squire and stuff, yeah, defense speed is actually still very, very important for say like the walls and stuff like that as well, because if you actually look, we do actually have an attack rate on the spike blockade, so it does actually affect this guy, because these little spikes do proc out an attack and hit enemies. So not only is it a good blockade, it does have damage to go with it as well. So that's always nice too. So this is actually it just is as important to get the attack rate on the squire blockade as well. So try not to ignore that. obviously when it comes round to say like defense crit chance and crit damage, it's not something that's going to be completely vital for you when it comes round to just your blockade. It's just there to you know, to take hits basically. So you know, when it comes round to this category in general, this is only really going to benefit you more from, say, the ballista and the cannonball tower. Um, it's still the best two things for you to go for: defense crit chance, crit damage. You know, then getting into the range and things like that. So that's one of the things that you're looking to do. Um, yeah, there's not really. I don't know whether or not if there's anything else to really cover in terms of you know, what it is that I could really kind of guide the newer players for. You know, we've already kind of covered, you know, what it is that you're looking to do if people are looking for an actual build for, you know, for what it is that they're trying to do. 180 DU per lane, one wall, flame auras, you know, chaos 1, chaos 3, chaos 4, chaos 6, chaos 7. You know, the only changes that you'll be making within those is chaos 2 and chaos 5 and chaos 8, which you will just be switching out from those, and you will just be swapping over to your towers. You know, you'll be swapping over to your towers, getting the towers down, using those instead. You know, that's what you're going to be looking towards. You'll be leveling up. You know, at least you now know what categories it is that you're looking to you know, to spend your points into. In terms of gearing up, I suppose I don't want to like keep blabbing on for too long here, because this is it's quite a long video for people to try and digest. But we'll leave it for that. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much. Have a good one. Take care, and I will catch you all later. See you. Bye.